and that's also pressure at sea level, and people can live in there. Well, if a small meteorite punches through that plastic sheeting, all you do is go up, put some duct tape over it, and it's sealed. Nothing is broken, nothing is shattered, and all that. And so the Moon Exploration Company was just totally ecstatic over it, and in fact have recently come out with a thing that they, same company, so that they discovered where they can make a temporary moon base by putting a sheet of plastic over a crater and using duct tape to seal the holes.
Wow.
And so, there are resources on the moon, and we'll be able to get those resources. And I think it's going to take quite a long time to get anything in space where we're so territorial that there would be wars over it. I mean, right now, in order to get into space, we have to be helpful to each other.
Let's talk about alien contact. Do you think there will be in our lifetime, Lyn?
Yes, I think, I know there already has been, but as far as public awareness of alien contact, yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
How far out do you think it is?
Probably, 10 or 12 more years.
Do you want to share about how you know that there are alien beings or civilizations here? Do you want to say something about that?
Do I want to? Yes.
Okay.
But I won't. Let's say I'd better not.
Okay.
Before I went into the military, into the remote viewing unit, I was a programmer who had clearances that nobody else had. And the military was just getting into desktop computers. And there are all these black projects that they couldn't get programmers for in order to do the specialty work they did. And so I got called around, sent around to all these black projects, and would get read onto a project in order to develop the computer programming for them. And I'll tell you, it got to the point where I would go to one of these black projects and I would say, look, don't tell me anything that I don't want to know. Okay, I'm here to write a program. Only tell me what you need for the program. And the military and the government are into some really, really strange stuff. And I was exposed to a lot of stuff that I still won't talk about no matter what.
Did it scare you?
Some of it did, yeah. And some of it I thought was just the neatest toys I'd ever seen in my whole life. And, they're into some good stuff, some really good stuff that's beneficial to mankind. And they're into some stuff that I thought was totally horrible, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the challenges you have had in your training with remote viewing in the unit, and also afterwards with your family in what you can share. The challenges of what someone at your level of competency in this particular area has gone through.
Well, I think the challenges for me personally were the same that happened with anybody learning remote viewing, and that is that you have to give up probably about 90% of your old paradigms, because you learn that what you've learned all the way through life and have depended on and even built your life on may not be true. And so you have to give up paradigms. There are a lot of paradigm changes, and that is always sort of a chaotic and many times a very hard time. But as you grow as a person, it's definitely worth it. But you may have some changes that are fairly drastic and fairly chaotic to you. When people come for training, we have one paragraph in the training agreement that says that changes will happen to you and may not happen to those around you. And so we give the example of, let's say you're a hardened alcoholic, and because you get in touch with yourself and you become a new person, you don't need the alcohol anymore. However, now your wife doesn't have a drinking partner, and she's an alcoholic too. She's going to go find another drinking partner, and want people to understand that the divorce will not be our fault. Okay. And so, as your life changes, it's going to affect your family and everything else. I think you may be referring to the point in my book where I was driving home one Friday afternoon. I had been mentally accessing a foreign leader that day at work, and there was something that kept nagging at me. Well, I finally just dismissed it. I got off work, was headed home, and I live 70 miles from the house. I live 70 miles from work, and so I had a long drive home, and I was planning what I would do that weekend, and I said, well, let's see, I'm going to, mow the lawn, going to wash the car, going to do this other stuff, and going to kill my wife and do some other stuff. And I backed up and I said, wait a minute, what? And what had been nagging at me from accessing that foreign leader was the fact that he was going to kill his wife that weekend. And it turned up later as a thought that I had for my plans on the way home. Of course, I would not have done it. But that weekend, that foreign leader did kill his wife.
Is that classified?
His name, yeah. As to who it is, yeah.
Wow.
But
wow.
His wife died under extremely mysterious circumstances, and everybody knew that he had killed her. But anyway, it can affect your family, either directly or indirectly. And we teach detoxification, by the way, to get you out of another person's mind if you happen to get mental access. But, the changes in your life will naturally affect your family.
Did you brief your wife as to what could happen based on how you were briefed, so she was prepared for some of it?
Well, actually, a little thing happened over in Augsburg, Germany. Two of the officers came, and they said they took the personal responsibility. They said, look, the secrecy of what's going on in our unit is causing divorces and all that among our personnel. And so they read me on to the project while Linda was sitting there. And so she heard the entire thing. And they asked her, what do you think about this? And she was all for it. And so she actually knew ahead of time what I would be getting into.
That's awesome. I think that's great.
It really is. They were taking their careers, they were putting their careers in jeopardy by doing that. But they were just tired of people in the unit changing, and that causing divorces, on the home front.
When there was no need to, if you had adequate upfront disclosure about what they can expect.
That's right. And, the thing is, they were also afraid of the whole word psychic, when actually, we're getting back to this is a science. I mean, you sit down, you go through it in a scientific methodology. It doesn't take a psychic to do it. And so along that respect, there was no real reason to classify this at all. Never has been, or in my mind anyway.
Can you share with us some of your insights about going into Saddam Hussein's mind?
Yeah, this was a thing that we did to get his plans and intentions. And, the man didn't stand a chance. We knew what he was going to do at least a day before he did it. And one of the big things that we realized very quickly in doing this set us up for doing it for other leaders too. And that is that if Saddam Hussein, who was very crazy. If he